All of you know me. I'm Arlene DeCoke Ruhala. Marilyn was my sister. We have my brother here today, Roger, and we'd like to share what we grew up with Marilyn. Marilyn was born on March 28, 1930. She passed away on September 13, 2021, aged 91. She kept saying, "I never thought I would live this long. I never thought I'd live this long." She was born to Willis and Mildred DeCoke. The DeCoke family grew up. My name, Hildreth Arlene, was born in 1936. My brother Roger Neal in 1940. There was 6 years difference between me and Marilyn, and 4 years with Roger. Marilyn was a wonderful big sister to both of us. Some of the things I remember about Marilyn, Roger and I recalled she would teach us games. She would read to us. She was the big sister. When my mom and dad wanted to go out, she took care of us, a built-in babysitter. She had many friends. Friends would come over. Even as a young girl, Marilyn liked helping and serving people. I'm going to be repeating some things here. Here are some examples. When I was in elementary school, Frebel Elementary School, in the 2nd grade, the leader of my campfire group was Marilyn. And she was only in high school at that time. And she had a little group of bluebirds, campfire girls. At the age of 16, Marilyn began helping in the nursery at the First Methodist Church and continued to do that for many, many years. When she was in high school, she enjoyed being in the Dutch dance at tulip time. You saw her there with some of her Dutch costumes on. In her senior year in high school, she was in a co-op program in which she went to school half a day and worked the other half at a pre-company where she got a job right after graduation. A few years later, our father bought Had's Sandwich and Soda Bar on River Avenue, which was across from the junior high school. Marilyn began helping her dad in the restaurant. It was here that she met a good-looking college student by the name of Paul Vernon Klumparns, whose family lived on 14th Street. For the DeCoke family lived on 15th Street, not too far away. It was love at first sight, and soon the wedding bells were ringing. Marilyn and Paul were married in the chapel of this church, First Methodist Church, on April 20, 1951. On April 20 of this year, Marilyn and Paul celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary. The family was there, the cousins, the nieces and nephews, and we had a wonderful celebration. Marilyn and Paul welcomed 4 children: Carol Jean, Barbara Ann, Thomas Paul, William Paul. Marilyn was busy with the children at home, while Paul was a counselor and teacher for the Holland Public Schools for over 33 years. It was during those years that Marilyn continued her support for the church, where she belonged to the Women's Guild, helped with the Christmas bazaar, helped in the kitchen to serve meals for different occasions and events. Both Marilyn and Paul were involved in their children's school, their children's church activities. As time went by, there were weddings and new families. It was Carol and Harv, Barb and Mike, Tom and Jane, William and Shirley. Next came the grandchildren and their families: Amy, Jack, Paul, Kelsey and Kevin in Kingston, Sarah and Jack, Elijah. Marilyn and Paul were so fortunate to have their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren live near them. Their lives expanded, and they continued to support their grandchildren and watching them grow. Later in retirement, Paul and Marilyn went south, and they would spend the winters down at Gulf Shores and later Newport Richey. We have one of his good friends here, Jim Ruhala, came with us from Flint today, And he and his wife would be there, and Dick and myself, and Marilyn and Paul, and we had some wonderful times together. Marilyn enjoyed so many things in life. She loved flowers. I looked at the flowers here, and I said, oh, she would have been up there looking at them. She'd be so pleased with it. But she was always planting flowers. Later, her grandson started planting the flowers. I think her favorite flower was the tulip, as she knew that tulip time was coming when those tulips started coming up. And the marvelous thing is this, all of her children took up gardening. They all became good gardeners. Barb and Mike even pulled up some of their flowers to take with them when they moved to Wisconsin from Holland. Dick and I would go cross-country skiing, that was years ago, and Marilyn and Paul went with us, and we met them up north to go cross-country skiing. For many years, Marilyn made different kinds of angels for Christmas trees, which were sold at the church bazaar, and you see one over at the table there. She loved cooking. She enjoyed having family and friends at her house. Every year, Arlene and Dick, along with Roger and Cherie and their families, came for a Christmas dinner and a gift exchange at their house. Our mother, Grandma DeCook, Mildred DeCook, especially enjoyed the holiday together. It is something the children, the grandchildren will never forget. Last week, Friday, September 10, my son Phil, my husband Dick, and I drove to Holland to join Roger and Cherie with what we call a picnic. I had talked to Marilyn. I talked with her about every day, every other day, and I said, wouldn't you like to go out for dinner? We'll come over. And I don't think that would be a good idea. Would you like us to bring the Subways in and we'll have a picnic? Oh, that's good. So a week ago tomorrow, we went over there to the apartment in Apeldoorn. Roger and she brought some cookies and drinks and chips, and Phil and Dick and I picked up some individually ordered sub sandwiches. We picked up some extra chairs in the dining room and sat down in a circle in their apartment and began eating. We had so much fun together as we told stories, we laughed, we just enjoyed being together. Even staff people joined us for a short time. Before long, it was time to go. There were hugs and kisses as we left. That was the way we said goodbye to Marilyn. It was a great send-off, filled with lots of love. We all have wonderful memories of Marilyn as a sister, a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother. I found a poem. I would like to share it as it fits Marilyn so well. And this is what Marilyn is saying. I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles. When life is done, I'd like to leave an echo, whispering softly down the ways of happy times and laughing times and bright and sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun of happy memories that I leave behind when life is done. Everyone here has been blessed to be touched by Marilyn. She wore many hats. She was a sister, wife, mother, aunt, cousin, neighbor, friend, church friend. She will be missed. But what a wonderful example she leaves us. She was so proud of all of you. And she was a wonderful example of helping others. The greatest tribute that we can give her is to follow in her example.